And a hell of an effective end game, because from everything from the Supreme Court on down to Eileen Cannon, we have seen exactly what Mr. Steinglass has said. The fear that he is simply too powerful to be subjected to the same rule of law as the rest of us. What are your thoughts there?
Well, my thoughts are, I've been yelling this from the rooftop for now, I don't know, 5 years, 4 years. Remember, I was unconstitutionally remanded back to prison for retaliation because I refused to waive my First Amendment constitutional right by Bill Barr, the then acting Attorney General in the Trump administration. Is what the whole book Revenge is about. So those people, and I've been saying, the reason I keep talking about it is because I don't ever want to see what they did to me ever happen to any other American again. And interestingly enough, the Supreme Court denied hearing my writ of certiorari to the Supreme Court on this important constitutional issue. Can an attorney general, a weaponized attorney general, use the Department of Justice to incarcerate a political enemy, a critic, because they so choose? And they decided they didn't want to hear it, but they'll listen to whatever Trump has to say. But this they ignored. And just to answer one more thing regarding the pardon, yeah, I put in the application for a presidential pardon because I believe that Joe Biden has the same responsibility to me that he had to his own son. And I would expect that the same exact pardon that he gave his son has to go to me and to anybody else that's on that enemies list, whether they want it or not. Because I assure you, solitary confinement where I did 51 days sucks.
Michael Cohen, I believe wholeheartedly that the solitary confinement was just a terrible experience for you. And I think your point about the enemies, the proverbial enemies list, right, is a good one. I wonder, have you heard anything back from the administration? It is my understanding that two things. The administration, one, is not going to give a pardon to anybody that doesn't want one. So folks who have prominently gone out and said, I do not want a pardon, the president is not going to issue a pardon to people that don't want one. But two,
they'll change their mind when they're sitting behind closed doors. That I can assure you, they're going to kick themselves in the backside for that one.
I think hindsight will always be 20/20. I guess my question is, have you heard from the Biden administration? And I am struck by your comparing yourself and Hunter Biden. And I wonder if, well, I'm going to just tell you, Michael Cohen, we're on national TV, we have a conversation. I don't necessarily think that's your best way to go get a pardon. I mean, Hunter Biden is the president's last surviving son. But your other point, why I do think is a strong one.
I'm somebody's son also, by the way.
Agreed. You are somebody's son. But, I mean, to be very clear, you're not the president's son. And he pardoned Hunter primarily because that is his son, I think. I did not ask the president this directly. I want to be very clear. But your point about the fact that there are many other people who are in the ire of the president-elect who could be in danger like yourself, I do think is a strong one.
And it is, and it's a reality. You know, you have to take Donald Trump for his word. When he turns on, so far, everything that he said that he intends to do, he actually intends to do. And he has been doing it. One by one by one. Now, it may not all happen on day one, as he said, but ultimately he'll have 4 years plus with a whole group of individuals that are now going to be filling government positions in order to help him effectuate his goals.
And Michael Cohen will have the last word on that one. Michael Cohen, it is very good to see you. Thank you for coming on. Much, much more to discuss next, folks. You are watching The Weekend.
We have our friend out there, Jack Smith, who's just kind of been buffeted back and forth. Talk to us a little about what this means, where we are now with this report. Coming out, not coming out. From my perspective, it seems like the runway's been created for him to release everything.
Almost. You'd think so. But there are two volumes of the report. There's the January 6th part, and then there's the classified documents part. With respect to the January 6th part, basically on Monday, unless things change, the temporary stay that Judge Cannon issued is over. She shouldn't have even issued that with respect to either part of the report, but certainly the January 6th part is not a case that's in front of her. So by Monday, unless things change, we should see that report related to the January 6th investigation. And there could be interesting new details in that report. With respect to the Mar-a-Lago part, the classified document part, I think that is something really worth keeping our eye on, because there could be lots of information in there, not just about Donald Trump and why he did what he did, but also about Kash Patel, who is reported to have gone to the grand jury and has said that he was there when Donald Trump allegedly declassified everything. So there could be really interesting and important information in that. But there, it is not so much Judge Cannon or the 11th Circuit that we have to worry about. It is that Merrick Garland has said that Merrick Garland, does not want to release that publicly. He only wants to give that to Congress and certain people in Congress. Why? Because he says that those two co-defendants of Donald Trump still may have a criminal case pending in Florida. I think he's wrong on that.